Continuing now to follow the fallout from those July 4th shootings in downtown Grand Rapids. The 4th, always one of those top events in downtown each year.
This year event, organizers hope the number of people who showed up would top the 200,000 mark.
Yeah, but with so many people, how do police make sure that enough security is on hand?
24-hour News 8's Danny Carlson has been working this story all day and is live in Grand Rapids with the very latest. Danny.
Ann and Brian, we found out today that police analyze a bunch of different things when they're figuring out how much security needs to be at a specific event. Things like traffic patterns, if alcohol will be served, and if the event has had any problems before in the past. Now, when I spoke with the special event coordinator about this specific 4th, he says that he thinks that there definitely were enough officers out on the streets, but sometimes you just can't control everything. Every year, you can count on a huge crowd downtown for the 4th of July. But it's not just the big crowds that determine how much security an event will need.
It's not necessarily just the number of people. It depends on the concentration of people. Obviously, our prize people are spread throughout the whole city. That's a lot different than having 5,000 people down at a concert, for instance.
Most events in Grand Rapids need some level of security. The police department figures out how much each event needs. If an event is big enough, like the 4th of July, that security has to come from the Grand Rapids Police Department. This year, 75 sworn officers were downtown for the 4th, about a half dozen of them at Rosa Parks Circle the whole night. The cost, $18,000. Normally, organizers foot the whole bill for all the event security. But on the 4th, the event was co-sponsored by the city of Grand Rapids. That means it costs the city $9,000, and thus the taxpayers.
This was kind of a fluke, and hopefully it doesn't happen again, but I can assure you that we in the police department will definitely keep an eye on things, and if things need to be adjusted for next year, then that will happen.
The police department and Office of Special Events is calling the shooting an isolated incident. They say they had enough security at the event, but
There's some things you can control, and there's some things and some aspects of life that you cannot control.
They also ask that in the future, people out at these huge events do their part and let the officers know if they see any signs of trouble.
As soon as that started getting out of control, there was several minutes there that people could have called the police or found an officer nearby and said, hey, there's a problem here. And had people done that, instead of being looky-loos, then the officers would have arrived, and that probably never would have happened. Or at least they could have just, broken the crowd up.
Now, the cost for police for this 4th was based on figures that we got from that department. That's how much the security cost for the last 4th of July. Now, as far as if there will be more security on hand for next 4th of July, people say that they're still looking into it to figure out whether or not they will need more. Now, but if you take a look at tonight's turnout for the Blues on the Mall, you can see that the fight and the shooting certainly hasn't scared people away from coming to events downtown. Live in Grand Rapids tonight, Danny Carlson, 24-hour News 8.